What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Angler's Prescription. We're joined tonight by Mr. John Myers and the one and only Damian Thao. Y'all don't need an introduction. Everybody knows Damian. Sorry we didn't do a show last week, and we're kind of messing with the schedule this week, being on
Earthquake.
Thursday. Just knocked something over, apparently. John's John's having technical difficulties today. But yeah, guys, we're gonna be doing Thursday shows for the next 5 weeks. My son's got basketball practice on Tuesdays, and I'm helping out with that. So we will not be doing Tuesday shows until second week of April, or first week of April, second week, something like that. So, but it is what it is, guys. Don't forget the word 10TEN will get you 10% off at Biono on their website, and the Anglers RX 10 will get you 10% off of First Gen Fishing's website. So use those codes if you're looking to get some stuff. But let's jump into tonight's topic. Don Pedro, you guys won the Yak-A-Bass team tournament. Apparently, John can fish better than he can do technical things, but
let me leave and come back.
All right. That's funny. So yeah, man, did you guys do much pre-fishing, or did you just kind of wing it?
No, we had one day of practice. We had one day of practice. Was that Friday, the day before, which we technically a lot of times we try not to practice the day before event just because you don't want to touch any of those fish that you're hoping to catch on tournament day.
Yeah. So did you find your bite practice day, or did you just kind of go around looking for fish?
I seen fish, but I wasn't able to catch any. John got on them pretty good on practice, so I struggled there in practice. I think I caught maybe 3 keepers on practice, and I think it was like first or second cast. John caught a 4 pounder, a 19 incher, right as soon as we launched. So I mean, John was catching them all day for me to just watch. So I mean, I struggled.
Yeah, you definitely didn't struggle on tournament day though.
Took risk. I took a lot of risks on tournament.
Took a lot of risk. Well, it's not a risk, man. When you do that, that's your bread and butter, though.
Well, in the pre-spawn to spawn, spooning is a risk. I mean, it's very day by day. It's not like how it is in the wintertime or in the fall where the spoon bite is very consistent, where it's gonna be every day that they're gonna eat the spoon. But other than we got cloudy days and stuff like that, it's gonna change. But not when it's the pre-spawn to spawn. Yeah, they're not really into eating all that. I mean, they're not on that bait fish pattern no more. So a lot of times they're gonna be throwing jigs and stuff like that during the pre-spawn, and something more on the bottom contact kind of bait. But it was kind of weird because practice day we practiced, and I noticed that marinas and boat docks and stuff always have fish. But it's you know right away practice day I flipped the spoon and made a few flips, but immediately you can tell that they don't want the spoon on that day. They see it, they chase it for a little bit, they turn to it, but they won't follow it. When it's really good, they'll fall all the way down to like 50, 60 feet and then hit it down there. But it wasn't like that. They'd see it, they turn down a little bit, and then they'll go back to where they were sitting. So practice day, I kind of like, the spoon's not there for that day. So but it was a little bit more different during tournament day. Tournament day, the first thing in the morning, I flipped the spoon to some cables, and those fish were not interested though. So I guess the spoon bite wasn't in the morning, but it turned on later in the day. That spoon bite definitely.
You think it was just when the sun got up high?
Yeah, when the sun got high. Yeah, water warmed up a bit. These fish really got tight on those cables. You know, But like starting in the morning was tough. We were expecting to catch them right on the get go, just because there's so many fish up shallow and so many fish on the points. I mean, you can see them on live scope. They were staged up in the spots where they're supposed to be. It's just they were not eating. You sit off and throw it to them, and they wouldn't touch it. But I did find that I was fishing out deep, throwing, pulling off, and then the first time I went on, and then right when I went to the bank, the first cast, casting out deep, dragging uphill, I caught a good one doing that. I caught a 19-incher.
So what's if you see them on the docks and they're not eating the spoon, what are you gonna throw before you leave the houseboats and marinas and say, okay, that bite's not there?
You know, I would if I would go to the spoon and they don't bite it and I have a lot of time, I'll try really hard to force feed them that spoon. I'm trying to force feed them all the time, but I was very fortunate. I stumbled across some fish that a big, massive school of fish, like 30 plus fish, all in the same class size fish. Around that 4+ pound fish. So I was just very fortunate. I stumbled across those fish. I'm not sure if I think English stumbled across them because they're quite obvious when you are around them. You see all the crappie, and then you flip that spoon to them. Man, they just shot down and hunted it down pretty fast. They were they you couldn't miss these fish if you had light scope.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just to say you're not crunched for time. You're not on a team tournament. You don't have John to back you up. Are you gonna make a couple flips with the spoon and then be out, or are you gonna try to follow it up with something to see if you can get those fish to go?
If John wasn't there, I'd make a few flips, but I'd definitely come back. I wouldn't do what I did on Terminator, where I babysit these fish. I once I found these fish, I didn't move. Or if I did move, I pulled off a little bit, but I didn't fish within. There was like a good 30 to 40 minutes. I didn't make a cast, just because I
Okay.
wanted to. I wanted to let these fish reposition and restage to bite. Because it's kind of similar to like swim baiting. If you're sitting on these fish for a long time, they know. So they won't bite. They sense your presence and stuff like that. So I didn't make any casts. I just sat and wait, just guarded the spot a little bit, and then every now and then I pull way off and I come back and then I'll flip to them and they'll bite again. So uh, really did spend a lot of time not casting because I wanted to get one of these to bite because they were better than average size fish. So I did spend a lot of time doing that, and I was comfortable doing that because I know that John was out there and he could, uh, grab some fish if we needed it.
Yeah. And so John, so what were you doing?
Uh, I was throwing a jig in a tube and shaking a worm, and I'd rotate through those, forward facing. You'd see the school, and there was 3 schools in the area where we launched, and you could pick off one out of each school, and that was it. And then where I started, there was a barge, and it had cable coming down and another cable going this way. And off that cable, it actually had like a Y. All these fish are right in that little area. And I was just, instead of being right underneath the barge, they were along that wire. So I kind of focused on letting my glide bait get down that deep. In the very first cast, I had like a couple of them chase it, and I thought, oh, for sure I'm going to get a bite. But as soon as I pulled it, far enough away, they didn't get any interest in it, and basically went right back to that same Y in the cable. So I said, okay, I know where you guys are at, and I threw it around the edges of the cable. I threw it up on top of the barge a couple times to help with the wind. But uh, yeah, they would follow it out. Even underneath the barge, they'd follow it out, and they would lose interest pretty quick. And I'd let it sink, 50 feet, and then give, slow twitches and stuff. And I spent quite a bit of time doing that. Never got a bite, and I went up to the bank, and immediately started catching fish. Um, the first few fish I caught were small, and I was kind of surprised that they didn't measure 14 inches. So I was okay with that, because I knew there's plenty of 15 plus fish around that area. So there's a transition spot. And on that transition spot, I caught a 17, and I think I caught a 15, but at the time the 15 didn't help. And then I think I caught along some island top. It's actually a parking lot. I caught a 16 something, but it was quite a bit slower than the day before. You know, the fish I had found the day before were pretty shallow, and in the day of the tournament they went a little deeper, and they were definitely relating to. There's actually some buoys, and on those buoys they had the T's and the cables, and they were all hanging out by these cables, which, you know, they were suspended up way off the bottom, but they were down deep. And if you made a good enough cast, you get one to follow it down, and it would eat. But I made a long run, about a half hour, well, actually about 35-minute run later in the day, and it took me like 45 minutes to get back because of the wind. And anyways, I caught a bunch of small ones. I caught a few other keepers. Didn't help. And prior to that, weeks before Lake got a little higher in elevation, the that one spot I was able to catch, you know, nice, you know, 19-inch spot or largemouth or a couple of them. So I kind of made a, you know, a gamble, went over there. You know, we had a limit, so we just needed some bigger fish. And anyways, on the way back, I had my wetsuit on and I had a shirt on. I got soaked. I was soaked from head to toe. I had literally every wave went over the top, over the side. And that was just because of the wind, you know, kind of came up kind of quick. So
Yeah.
that was a little different.
For sure.
So there's some other key spots. I'm heading to them, and a boat goes around me and pulls up to the spot, you know. So okay, I'll go to the next one, and I'm almost there, and another boat does the same thing. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'll go to the next one, you know. A boat passes me up, and he goes over there. I'm like, well, everybody's fishing the same stuff. I'm gonna, you know, fish something different. You know what I mean? Because, you know, if you keep getting them beaten up by these, you know, and they're key spots. They're basically points where the fish will set up before they go back to spawn. And there was big schools of fish in those areas, but a little frustrating to you know, get beat there by the boat all the time. The one guy, I think he made the top 10. The guy that was around us and saw me catch that nice fish on the date on Friday. And they started over there and they caught like 4, right, Damian?
Yeah, 4 good ones back to back.
Right on that point, you know. So you just kind of had to let them rest and come back. You know, they'd bite, but it was a timing thing as well. Definitely the stuff that was on the bottom wasn't working as well as the stuff that was kind of suspended. So, you know, you kind of had to adjust and seeing what was going on to forward facing, you know, around those cables. And these cables, they're about the size of a 50-cent piece. But for some reason, where it would tee off or Y off, those fish were really hanging around that stuff, you know, and normally without, you know, forward facing, you would never see that stuff, you know. And Damian, you said that what the rustiest, oldest looking cables were the bass were at.
Yep. That's the stuff that cuts your lineup. That's where all the fish are at.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know, it did change from one day to the next, you know. It got a little bit slower, but Damian, you know, I jumped on his coattail and he dragged me around the rest of the day. So,
so you're saying is Damian's back's a little sore from carrying you for too much?
Yeah. We stopped by the masseuse on the way home. And he gave him a workout. So, yeah. It's actually, it's a good strategy too. You gotta like, okay, you go for a limit, but yet you still kind of go for big fish because really you need to catch 2.5 fish each.
Yeah.
So to catch 2.5 fish in a day shouldn't be that difficult.
No, guys, you cannot take 2 fish, cut them in half, and make one. Okay, so you're really catching 2.5.
Well, I mean, one catches 3, one
Yeah,
catches 2, or whatever, but 2.5 fish. So the strategy is, basically try to concentrate on getting the bigger bite, and normally in a tournament, I was throwing the S Flavor 200. I'll pull up to a point and I'll get the boat up on shallow and I'll cast it out as far as I can. I let it sink a long ways and you usually get bit as it sinks. And if you don't, then I just kind of like twitch it back. I'll make 3 or 4 casts and then I'll start throwing a jig or whatever, or tube. And then I go to the next point, so I spent a lot of time doing that, and didn't get the bite, but there was that chance I could have got the bite. And then talk about the crappies. So that was the key too, was when you were around crappies, the big fish were around. So when I was by the dam, I have a picture of this. I wish I could post it. It was like an 8 or 9 pounder, had swallowed a crappie, but didn't eat it all the way. And it was floating. It had just died. So I picked it up. I took a picture of it, I know it was dead. And I was like, well, I'm not going to mess with it. So I just took a picture just to show people, hey, look at this big old bass died because it ate a crappie and couldn't swallow it. But anyways, so I let it go and off it went down the dam, and I was thinking to myself, and I should have probably cut that fish wide open, you know what I mean, and had it sink, so no one would
pick it up and measure it.
Yeah, you could have, because it had black eyes in it. So, but it was a big fish. It was nice, healthy, fat. You could just tell it was like an Eastman bass. It had that big belly in it. And I was just thinking to myself, man, this probably came from those houseboats over there. You know what I mean? And I go by there and I see, Damian's over there, and I see like 3 bass boats on one side and 2 bass boats on the other, and I'm thinking, oh boy, So, being limited on your mobility, you basically fish what's in front of you, and if there's someone already there in a bass boat, you just don't crowd them, or you just don't crowd them. You know what I mean?
How'd that work out with how many anglers does BAM have for that pro-am?
82.
How was that with 82 boats on the water and 50-something kayaks? Did it seem crowded, or?
No, not really. I mean, besides, like the obvious stuff, people were fishing the obvious stuff, right, Damian?
Yeah.
And it kind of told you too to stay away from those obvious areas just because it got beat up so well.
Yeah.
It was pretty nice though. I mean, you'd think there's that many boats, but these guys were pretty nice to us, which is really nice. They'd come and ask, hey, you mind if we sneak in here and fish right here, or and
Right.
pretty nice guys. They're not just gonna pull up on you and just cut you off, which is pretty nice. I really liked seeing that, where everybody was nice to everybody, and there's no issues.
Yeah, everybody worked together, and
yeah,
that's cool. That was good. And I know Bray made a post, made those guys aware that the kayakers are going to be out in force and don't run them over and all that fun stuff. So,
yeah, I wanted to go way back in this creek arm. It's like an hour and 40-minute run. And I thought to myself, man, there's going to be a boat sitting on that stuff. I know there is. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I just, punted on that, which was the right thing to do because there was plenty of fish to catch on the main lake areas. And basically every point you went up to, or every break, would have a fish on it. And you could definitely see the schools of fish with your forward facing. So, even though if you didn't see the school of fish, you throw out there and then they come off the bottom and, they were there. There's a couple areas where, you wouldn't see them, but as soon as you see that jig over there, they thunk,
Yeah. So what's you guys are both heading up to Clear Lake this weekend?
Yeah, we're gonna follow you.
You're gonna follow me. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know nothing.
We're gonna follow this guy named James.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If we see
follow
James-
me.
If we see James, we're in the right area. That's how we know.
Yeah. Follow me. There you go. Put your GPS tracker on. You guys might get lost.
Yeah, I'm sure things have been changing there with the weather.
For sure.
Although I've been keeping track of the weather, it's going to be warm, but it's still going to be windy. So
yeah, guys, be prepared for a windy Sunday.
Yeah.
So make plans. Have a travel buddy. Have somebody tracking where you're at, what you're doing. Doesn't have to be another competitor. You're wanting somebody back home, whatever. Check on you because it's gonna start ripping on Sunday around 1 o'clock. I'm seeing like 9 to 21.
Yep.
Oh, crap.
So yeah, and clearly it gets really big when it gets that windy. So just be prepared. Have a plan. Have a buddy. That way you guys know where each other at. Make sure you guys get back to the ramps and safe and sound. So that's be prepared. Bring a change of clothes in case you do go in. So the water's still cold up there. I mean, last time I was up there, it's been a couple of weeks, but it was 51 degree water temp. So it's gonna be cold. Be prepared for it. It's gonna be windy. Waves are gonna be big. It's supposed to be calm in the morning, so don't try to be that guy to cross the lake and then not be able to get back either. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you get across the lake and you have to go up on the bank and call for help.
How many inches of wind Clear Lake max? If it was a couple of weeks ago, I'd say over 100. Right now, I don't know. I haven't fished it in like 3 weeks, so I don't know what it's doing. I know Clear Lake Outdoors had a team event last Sunday, and it was 24 pounds of wind, and it's been over 30 the last few tournaments before that. So that's all I got to say about that. So who knows? Who knows? Like I said, I haven't been there in a while, so I don't know what it's doing.
Hopefully we stop on the right spot and catch them.
Yeah. So make sure you bring your banjo minnows and have fun.
So which way is the wind blowing?
Out of the south.
So it's blowing from Red Bud towards
Lakeport.
Towards Lakeport.
Yes, sir. From the Oaks to Lakeport. So it's gonna be, like I say, dude, just don't get caught in that wind. It's gonna rip, and that lake's gonna get big fast when it starts to. So yeah, man. So Damian, how you been? It's been a long time since you've been on the show. Anything new and exciting other than still winning tournaments all the time, or what?
Oh no, I've been fishing. I haven't been posting content or videos and stuff, but I've been fishing quite a bit. I did go quite a bit to my home lake, and the bite was pretty good. It's slowly changing with the water temp going up and water rising. The fish are shallow. I mean, if you're fishing deeper than 10 feet, you're too deep. That's what it is. So those guys that are planning to fish CVKF, if you guys are throwing a worm up shallow, you're probably gonna do very good. I'd say that because I was just there yesterday and the bite was insane. But there you have it. I mean, if those guys are, if you guys are following me on YouTube or whatever, some of my swim bait stuff will be start coming out after my Don Pedro video. So I'd be expecting a double digit, my PB as well. So
nice. Well, congrats.
Oh, thanks.
How big was that one? I know you caught a 10.
I can't
So
say. Just
keep
look out
stay
for the
tuned.
video.
So what you're
Yeah.
saying is the video's gonna come out now that the bites died. No one's gonna come poach your spots.
Yeah. Well, it's changed. I mean,
It's
it's definitely
changed, yeah,
changed.
for sure.
It's definitely there. Even though we had this cold front come through, these fish that already made the journey up back to the banks and are ready to spawn, they're not leaving. They're still there. So, I went and checked on them, and yeah, if you throw to the bank, you're gonna get bit. They're in that fresh new water, in those green stick ups. Wherever this kind of flat and there's just fresh water, you can see it's crystal clear. Those big ones are in that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, man. So I know Max touched on it last night. I'm gonna touch on it anyway. I'm not trying to steal Max's thunder, but what do you guys think of the I don't have it on me, but the payout structure for BAM and tournaments alike? I mean, what are your thoughts on paying down deep, getting a participation check, or should the guys that put in the work and do their time should be rewarded better?
Okay, I guess I'll go first. I really like that payout. I like it to pay down deeper. I used to not like that. I used to like it paying a lot to first and first to third, right? Those guys really deserved it. But I used to say that all the time. But within you find yourself in a lot of situations where you're the last spot paid out. You're like, wow, I guess they paid out to 10th place and I got 10th place. Just I used to complain about why I pay down so deep. But then when you find yourself seeing that spot a lot, you're like, I'm glad they paid down that far. So yeah, that's kind of like my take on it. I mean, yeah, sure, yeah, you reward the guys that do win
But
and stuff.
out of a 75 boat field, is it really necessary to pay the 15th, or should it be your top 10? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like 1 and 5 is a little much. I know Sean said it last night with Max. Like, maybe do like a 1 and 7 or a 1 and 8, something like that, to where it still gives those guys that are right there a chance to cut a check, but yet it still rewards those that do their work. Like, for instance, for you got a 5-hour journey ahead of you to make it to Clear Lake. It's a lot of fuel, lodging, and everything. Like, is it just recovering some of that money is what you want? I'd like to see a little bit more on the top end, right? Make it worth. And I know they're building a series, right? I'm not saying, I don't mean to get too specific with it, but Bray and Mark, you guys know I love BAM. Like, I think they do a great job. They run a top notch tournament. I got nothing but good things to say about BAM. So don't let me deter you from that. You all know that. But is there room to be better, right? As far as the payout structure on that.
I got something.
What's up, John?
So the whole thing about payback, if you do 1 and 5, and let's say you're the last person to get your money, at least give your entry fee back, a minimum, if not double it. So if instead of saying, okay, if 15th place gets $310 or whatever it is, $330, they get only 155. So, I mean, you get your money back. And to me, fishing team tournaments and bass boats, the one thing that was always a jab in the eye was your last place in the money and you get $100, but it costs you 300 to get in it. Well, give me my entry fee back at least. You know what I mean? And that's my biggest pet peeve is you show up, you get in the money, and they jab you in the eye with a little bit of gas money. So
Yeah.
if you want to make the payments a percentage from first place down to 1 and 5, that's fine. But as long as fifth place gets your money back,
I
that
agree.
you put in it. You know what I
And
mean?
that's what they have it at a 75 boat field. It was like 13th through 15th got $207, something like that, where they're getting their entry fee back and then some. And
A little less, yeah.
they're building a series that's going to keep guys that are like, oh, it's going there. I know that lake real well. I'm going to fish it because they're pulling out a lot of money for the no entry fee championship, and they're pulling, they're pulling their AOY money out. So it's not. I see what they're doing, and is it worth the no entry fee championship, or as an angler, would you like to see a 2-day event where the normal events are $155? Would you want a $300 entry fee for the TOC where you got a good chance? You made it for a reason, right? The top 20, the guys that fished the TOC last year, they weren't no jokes. Everybody had a chance to cut a check and win money. Would you rather see that full money paid out at each event and have a higher entry fee for the 20 that make it, or do you like the no entry fee championship?
I like the no entry fee.
Yeah, no entry fee.
It makes those guys honestly, with the no entry fee, you're not gonna get those guys that are, just cherry picking. These guys are fully committed to this series, and these guys are gonna want to make it there, and you're gonna see these guys make it there. So really it really makes it worth it to get into the TOC, and you actually go to fish it because it's paid for.
Yeah. And I see it both ways, dude. Like I'd like to see maybe they hold back not as much, and you have like a little bit, maybe say half of that, and you still pay your normal entry fee for the TOC. That way, the pot is a little bit bigger. Everybody is getting a check that's going to be a little bit healthier. The checks during the regular season are a little fatter. Makes the travel and the time and everything worth the expenses. I know it's not all about money, dude. I mean, we fish. If I'm gonna fish a tournament, I'm gonna go fish. If I'm not gonna fish a tournament, I'm gonna go fun fish somewhere anyway. So I'm gonna be out there regardless. But
yeah,
I curious.
I think at the end of the day, money does help a lot, but at the end of the day, it kind of doesn't really matter because you're there to get a piece of wood for the wall or something. That's the main goal. So it's like the payout isn't too much of an issue. Well, for me personally, it's not too much of an issue. If you do cut a check, that's even nicer. If you could win, you get a piece of wood. That's what matters. Just bring home that piece of wood. So,
or you can win a couple of them and not get anything and just have a check. I know a guy that's happened to. I'm still waiting on a first and second place trophy from a certain organization that I shall not mention. I'll never see.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
And money that I'll never see. That's a different organization.
Yeah, the plaque is important, or the trophy or the cup or whatever. That's real important because you'll have that to remember hey, back that happened, this is how I did it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing is just how many pieces of wood you got?
Damian has too many pieces of wood.
Be right.
He's got his camera strategically placed so you can't see the giant stack of trophies and plaques and everything behind him.
Yeah, they fell down, so I had to stack them on the right side. So it almost killed me one time I was playing games. So I had to move them around.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, I was just kind of curious. I know as a topic of late, and I know some guys aren't happy with it. Some guys are really happy with the payout. I'd like to see maybe a small change to it. I think there is room to grow and whatnot, but I truly believe that Mark and Bray are running a great series, and they're going to do good things with it. And they're on board to have it to where it's more of a you're in it for the long haul, not just come fish one event with us and try to make some money.
I think with the payout, you can't make everybody happy. It's just
you never will.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I used to complain about this stuff, and then you find yourself in the last spot or bubble boy, and you're like, man, I wish they paid one more spot down. Just then you're like, oh shoot, 16th place, I caught a check. All right, cool.
Yeah, I think there's some room to change, but I think it also whatever if it does go get changed, anglers need to vote on it and have their say in the matter. You know what I mean? Like let everybody's voices be heard, and majorities are gonna win, and it is what it is at that point. So, John, you are having a rough time today, bro.
My battery's going dead now.
Oh. Oh man. Yeah, so Clear Lake this weekend, guys, for BAM. If you haven't signed up, Bray just sent me a message. They're at 65 anglers right now, currently.
Nice.
The late fee is waived. You can sign up all the way until tomorrow, I think. I don't know what the cutoff date is. I don't remember. But I said, guys, be prepared to have some wind and some waves, and plan your routes accordingly. Don't be a hero and cross the lake when it's calm, and call for help because you're stranded on the side of the road and you can't get out. So these kayaks we have are heavy. It makes it a pain in the butt. So I missing anything, John? I don't think so. Yeah, drop a comment. What do you guys feel about the whole thing? I know you guys have made a bunch of comments. I know the guys like it, love it, hate it. It's gonna be a little bit of everything, but I think this is a great cutoff is tomorrow. Yeah, you got till tomorrow evening to sign up for BAM. Another 10 more anglers, $1,500 goes to first, and they're paying down to 15th place at $207. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a good weekend. The fishing is, I'm sure, has changed. Looking at the weights from last weekend, so I'm not gonna. What do you think it's take to win, John?
Over 100 inches.
Think so?
Yeah, typical Clear Lake. Typical.
Damian?
I don't know, man. It's just Clear Lake can be pretty rough too. It could take a small limit or something, Just it could just be one of those days.
Yeah, thanks. You're gonna be
It's up and down,
Yeah, they had some rain yesterday. It's getting warm tomorrow and Saturday. Sunday's gonna cool down a little bit, but then there's another big storm rolling in next week. So, and the nights are getting colder right now. Big fish pot to be more. I agree, Max. The big fish pot this year is smaller than last year. I don't know if they're pulling more out for the TOC or what the deal's on that. But I agree. I think the big fish should get rewarded or have
was
a
that a side option? Was that a side option for the big fish where you can check it, or is it you're automatically included once you sign up?
You're automatically in it.
Oh.
No, it's included. Everything's all included for the 155. So the big fish money, and put that into the payouts and have an option to pay in for the big fish, because big fish payouts. I think the one I got last year for Tolek was like 500, just over 500. That was good. That was great. Yeah, that was an awesome big fish payday. And it's like 385 this year, so I'm not sure what the change was. It's 5 per angler. Yeah, so they changed it compared to last year. I don't know why, but.
I saw somewhere they had percentages up, so I just glanced at it.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, good luck to all those that are headed out there. Safe travels, those that are headed out tomorrow to head up there. Free fishing does not start till Saturday. Don't forget, don't get on the water tomorrow. You get on the water tomorrow, that's off limits. So Saturday, man, dude, I want to say it's going to take over 100 to win, but I have a feeling it's going to be like 96. I'll say somewhere between 95, 96. I don't think it's on fire as well as it had been a couple of weeks ago. A couple of weeks ago, well over 100 to win. I mean, that's when those 30-something pound bags are getting pulled. And the fish, I mean, I don't know what the fish are doing. They're doing fish things, so who knows? That maybe it might be turned on again. It might not. I'm not.
Well, aren't we in that weird phase where the fish are transitioning already, right? So it's
Yeah.
gonna be it's gonna be on and off, right? So
Hmm.
I mean, I
I
think maybe
yeah.
when you were fishing, it was still the winter phase, you know.
It was full blown winter phase, and it was amazing. I hated doing what I was doing, but god dang it was good fun. And I hated it every minute of it, and I was just what you had to do to get bit, and I was done with it by the time I was done for the day. I was like, God dang, I just want to like do something different. But yeah, that's what I gotta say about that.
Yeah,
76 inches, James. I don't think so, but I think it's gonna be a little more than that.
Yeah,
Limit to win.
those 20-pound limits. Those are between 95 and 97 inches.
That's what I think. It's going to be right around 20 to 24 pounds. It's going to be that 95, 96. It
Yeah,
may hit.
someone's going to get a 38-pound limit and come in with 106.
I don't know, dude. I know a 28-pound limit was like 98 and 3/4, something like that. So, but you might have a 30-pound bag. I don't know.
Yeah, there's 30-pound bags ready to chew if you get on the right fish.
Yeah, it all depends upon what they're doing. Like I said, if it was that traditional wintertime Clear Lake pattern, I'd say 105 could be easy. But right now, with everybody knows that Clear Lake fish are moody when it weather changes. You know, everybody knows that. So it could be an on day, it could be an off day. I'm really curious to see what it's gonna take. So, but yeah, guys, don't forget, visit Headwaters Adventure Company. Visit the website. They will ship kayaks, they'll ship anything to you. Yeah, pay for it, but 85 will be the last person to cash a check. Maybe 17. Yeah, if you guys don't know, there was one that was just under 16 that was caught last week, the week before.
Yeah,
week before last.
1596.
No, it was last week. Yeah,
on the north end.
Everybody go flood to the north end, right where the wind's blowing you into the bank, and have fun.
Good luck. Good luck on that.
No, there's plenty of protected areas on the north side you can fish. There's good protected spots, but I'm serious, guys. It's going to be windy, so have a plan. Please have a plan. Please have a plan. So, congrats, you guys. How did you like that team format? You guys like it?
Cool.
Oh, I loved it. It was fun. It's not so much pressure because you're like, oh, my partner's gonna catch him, so I don't have to worry too much, you know. So you get that feeling, so you can take a lot of risk, you know. I did chuck the big swim bait a lot because of that, but I didn't get any sniff on it. So
I pulled up Tourney X and I was like, oh, Damian's fishing this one because I looked at the angler leaderboard. I was like, man, who's he fishing with? I had to look at the team name. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Them two? I was like, I knew those two were going to join and make a team. I was like, God dang. Leave it up to that.
I like the format, you know. I was uploading whenever I was catching. I usually don't like to deal with my phone stuff until the end, but I was uploading because as a team, I wanted John to know that what I've got, so that way he doesn't have to worry about chasing a limit if I already got a small limit, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It's definitely fun, you know, and you know you can, and it just works out well, especially if you know the angler you're fishing with, you know. You can figure out something really quickly.
So how hard was it not to sandbag all day long?
Oh, it's not hard. I mean, I don't do it. I don't do it intentionally.
Everybody makes fun of Damian because you're like, oh, dude, I got to check. Thinking you're on the bubble, and then you're like, oh shit, Damian hasn't submitted anything yet. Oh, there goes that.
When I submit early, that means I'm struggling because I'm like, man, I got all this free time, I'm not getting bit, and then I'll submit a few my keep.
No, I know
have
your strategy, bro. We've talked about this
No.
before. Oh man, that's funny. I know you all enough.
The way the app is now, it makes it easy. You just take the picture with the app, and then you click the little button right down at the bottom right, and it brings you right to submit.
Oh, nice. I hardly ever use the app for that. I always use
Yeah, and it's so much quicker now.
Yeah.
You don't have to look for the fish or anything. It just pulls it right up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The other big news that was announced was it last week? The wild card event, June 28th, 29th, that Clear Lake. So for those that are wanting to go back east and fish the national championship, there's our qualifier.
Is that so, that is a 2-day, correct?
It's a 2-day tournament on Clear Lake, yes, sir.
Nice.
And there's
that's nice.
Yeah, I think you gotta wait for. We'll get Kong on. We'll get all the rules hammered out, and when the off limit starts, what are the official practice days? I'll try to get them on here in a little bit. Maybe after the native event, and get all that stuff hammered out. So yeah, that should be a fun one.
Yeah,
those are always fun. So, but guys, thanks. You got anything else, John?
Oh, and June too, fishing's going to be really nice. The weather's going to be nice.
We thought that last year too, and it was only like 91 inches of wind, or whatever it was. 93 at Drew caught.
Yeah, he caught it in the first 10 minutes of the morning.
Yeah, right. Pretty much. But yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, guys, good luck this weekend. Safe travels. I would submit the following Monday if I could. Oh, jeez. So yeah, dude, it'll be a fun weekend up there at Clear Lake. There's 6:00 on Saturday night, Clear Lake Outdoors. It's not mandatory, but they are having the captain's meeting. If you guys have any launch ramp inquiries, you need to reach out to Bray. So if there's somewhere you want to launch that's not on the list and it's public, you guys can reach out to him. He will make it public what those ramps are. He added a couple the other day.
Where's that Hamilton one at?
I have no clue. I've never heard of it.
Me neither.
So think about that. That way, if there's somewhere that you want to get to and you can't get there right now, just reach out to Bray. Awards are at 5 on Sunday. 5? Was it? Yeah, he said 4:15 to 5. There was food at Clear Lake Outdoors. The awards are at 5. So your launch and lines in at 7. Lines out at 3. Off the water 3:30. So you got from 3:30 to 5. Pack your crap up and get up to
Clear Lake Outdoors.
Yeah. There you go. So that's what you got. So, but yeah, other than that, guys, next Thursday, I'm going to track down whoever pulls up the win on this one, and we'll get them on the show, and if they want to, or we'll have John drag him kicking and screaming one way or another. We'll get some Clear Lake juice. Might be Damian throwing his giant king massive glide bait around, catching giant double digits, and you caught a 15.9. Let me show you my 20. A giant thing. Oh my god! I wish you would have bought a rod to throw that. So, yeah, guys. Well, congrats, man. I gotta go eat dinner and get ready to go to work tomorrow. So, I'll catch you all next week, and we'll do it all over again.
Thursday.
Next Thursday. Yes, guys. Thursday nights until April the 8th. We'll be back on Tuesdays. So the 8th of April, back to Tuesday nights, but until then it'll be Thursday. If that screws with your schedule, I'm sorry. But you guys can watch it on Facebook. All right, y'all. Catch you later.
Later, guys.
Thanks, bro.